And without further ado, let's get started. And yeah, so I'm going to start this website. So I'm on codewars.com. Let me just make sure my sound is okay, in case I've been having some problems with my microphone, but I think it's okay. Right, so I've signed up like a couple of weeks ago on this website, codewars.com. I was recommended this website as a way to, basically you can practice any language here. And I'm a fan of Python, so I've already signed up and I did a couple of questions on Python. Okay, this is almost like a game, right? You basically compete against other people, and I'm sure the first problems are easy, and then the more problems I resolve, the harder it gets, and I'm sure it'll be more fun. So what I'm going to do, I'm here. So I'm here in the dashboard. So I'm just going to click train, and I'm going to start coding as soon as possible. Yeah. So but don't worry. You can interrupt me if you want to say hi, if you want to ask a question. Go for it. I'm going to try and approach this problem in a way. I'm not going to try to solve it only with one solution. I'm going to think about like different alternatives, and I'll try to explain as I go along. If anything that I say is not clear, let me know. Okay, right, let's start. So, and I want to make sure it's visible. So I want to see if this is, I don't know if there is a size parameter I can specify here, first of all. Let me see. Okay, I'm just going to, there's VI or Emax mode. Okay, I'm just going to increase my screen size, yeah? That should be okay to see. Just check that everything is clear before I go ahead. Okay, right, cool. So let me explain how this works, right? So we have a question. Okay, the question is here, and some examples. Then we have here some tests, okay? These are tests that we can always improve on those, right? But they give us a test suite, right? So we can use to test our code, okay? And this is a function I need to create, okay? So the exercise is asking me to, complete the method and function so that it converts dash underscore delimited words into camel casing. The first word within the output should be capitalized only if the original word was capitalized, known as upper camel case, also often referred to as Pascal case. Examples here, so the stealth warrior gets converted to the stealth warrior with uppercase S, okay? And then we have here another example. Okay, seems to be straightforward. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check that in the Python library, the string library, there's whether there's anything to allow me to convert strings to uppercase, yeah? So before I reinvent the wheel and try to do something complicated, yeah? So let me search for Python string class methods, okay? Let's just go to the actual Python website here, which is, okay, so always, okay, you can already see immediately there's stuff for uppercase, okay? The first question would be, how do we know it's uppercase or lowercase? Well, in this case, we don't need to know. We only need to look for dashes, and then the letter that comes after will be have to be converted to uppercase. But let me just see. To convert it to uppercase, let me see what's the easiest. Yeah. There should be a method that allows me to convert to uppercase. So String methods. Okay, I want to see string methods, yeah? Capitalize. Oh, this is cool. So it seems like we already have a method that does what we want. Okay? So I already have an idea on how to fix this, yeah? How to make this work, okay? So let me just tell you my plan. There's also another method called split, okay? So split, the simple split, I'm not even thinking about this R split. So the split will take a character that you can code it a separator, and then it will split your string into many, okay? So my plan is to take this string here, and I'm going to divide it into three strings, yeah? Using this dash as a separator. It's actually going to be an array, okay? Right? So this is quite an easy one, I think. So let's just go for it. So the code, so text. So if I get the text, I'm going to just do text.split. Well, first of all, I need to make sure there is, I'm going to create a test for that actually, right? So if I pass in like an empty string, I'm allowed to change the, I think I'm allowed to change the test, right? So I'm going to just say, oh, it already has an empty string, okay. Okay, I was going to add this test case, I thought it was missing, but it's actually already there. Okay, so in fact, it's a good exercise to know what you're going to do when there is nothing there. So what should be the result? So if text is empty, then we should return like the same string, yeah? So return text. And you might be thinking, okay, I haven't added anything yet to the code that checks what's coming here. But what I'm actually doing here is test-driven development. I want to pass the first test first, okay? So if I run this now, I know it's very silly. It should just return, you see the first test already passed and I haven't written any code, which is cool. Yeah, so already one test passed, okay? But the second one is probably going to be a bit higher. So the second test is saying, okay, it's going to give me this string. So it seems like it's expecting also camel case for underscores, not just for dash, okay? Let me see if the split accepts two separators. So I'm just wondering, you know, can I actually use multiple separators? Separators? I don't think I can. But it would be useful, right? But anyway, I'm trying to get ahead of myself, right? For now, I only have to worry about one, okay? So let's do. So if text, okay, if str length, now if length of text bigger than 0, then we are going to do something here. Else we just return text. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do split. So text dot split, and then can I just use this underscore? Yeah, I can. Right. So words. So let words equal to text dot split, and then so I'm going to get an array, right? So in this array, basically, I'm going to get actual words, and then I need to go through each word, and then I need to convert it to uppercase. So for word in words, I could just do word dot capitalize, right? Okay. And I could just create a list of words of camel case words equal to, so I start with an empty string, yeah, empty string, and then we just start adding the capitalized words to here. Just check that, yeah, it's still working. So camel case words was equal to words dot capitalize, and then we can return camel case words. Okay, this is a way to do it, right? There's a more elegant ways to do this in Python. I'll look for those ways in a second. So let me just get this. Let me just test to see if this looks okay, right? Camel case words. Word and words, camel case words, and then let's see, test. I made a syntax error. Okay, I shouldn't have this here. I should hopefully pass the second test. I think I'm mixing JavaScript with Python, which is not always a good idea. Okay, so we have the first test passed, and the second test. So there's no capitalized method. I think I might have capitalized. Oh, it's with a Z maybe? Did I put that with the S? Okay, a Z, yeah. So we have test. Okay, so oh, so the first word shouldn't count. Wait, I didn't do this properly, right? So the test says the stuff worry should return this. Oh wait, hang on. So this stuff worry. Okay, got it. So I made a mistake because it shouldn't, the first word shouldn't have a capital letter, right? So I need to exclude the first word. But you know what? In Python, there's a very cool way. I can actually exclude the first element in a list, and it's using this notation here. So I can just say, instead of, for example, from 0, it would start at the very beginning. Okay, I can just do this. And then instead of having like starting with an empty string, I could just start with words 0. Yeah. So it should pass the test now. See, it passed the test. Awesome. So I deserve some coffee now. Yeah, very good. Going well. Okay, so the second test passed, but the third test didn't pass. And the question is, okay, it seems like it has a different delimiter, and it doesn't like it. So I need to have another, maybe another if statement, or just there's another way maybe, like, which is, you know, there's some, yeah, let's try to call split without any argument. I think by default it will pick the correct, it will have a default so if you pass in nothing here, so if I don't know what is the default, but it seems like white spaces will work, right? You don't have to specify the limiter when you have just white spaces. But in our case, we don't have white spaces, so let me just see what happens. Okay. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, so that's not an option. So I'm just looking for maybe a better way to. I would love to have a method that accepted more than one delimiter, but it seems like by default, case fold. I don't think this will work, but I'm trying it. Doesn't work. So you need to pass in. I don't know if you pass in. Yeah, this would be nice if it works, right? But it doesn't. Oh, what happened there? Oh yeah. Anyway, it doesn't work, right? So I need to. I don't have an easy way out. I need to basically test for this, right? So if, okay, let's code a separate method, split the text, and then we can just say, okay, split, okay, text. This is our own split, right? So if text contains a dash, right? Then we return split dot text dot split. Yeah. Else we assume it's going to be an underscore. Okay, this is not pretty, but it will work. No. But yeah, this is there's many solutions for this, so let's try it. And then I missed the. Okay, so we have now. Str object has no. Yeah, I think substring is there. So. It's fine, yeah. Okay, in. Okay, there's in, of course, yeah. In is much easier. So if in text, yeah, so that should work. All right, so we have all the tests passing, okay, with this code. I mean, it's working. There's not much to it, and I'm actually curious to see. Okay, let's go to the next exercise. Yeah, this one was quite easy. Okay, attempt. Oh, so there's more. Okay, there's things that I didn't. Okay, so I was assuming this is the full test suite, and it seems like it's not. Oh, they can mix the. I see. They can mix the underscore with the dash, right? So it's not as simple as I thought. Okay, so if it has both, then. It what? Let me just think. Regular expression. So it seems like I have to wait times. Okay, regular expression. Wait. Okay, I'm kind of complicating this too much, yeah? So if it's the case that both types of string can be there, right? Let's just do a replace. Things replace all. So I'm going to replace all the underscores and all the dashes with the same kind of string. So we don't have to replace. Okay, replace here. So I'm going to use this method here. So I'm going to replace all the occurrences in the string of the character that I don't want to deal with. Okay, so I'm going to convert every single underscore to a dash. Yeah, easier. So text. Okay, but before I do that, let me just change my test. Yeah, so I'm going to add an extra test that wasn't there before, because now I know I need to have camel case. So I'm going to do test assert equals, so 2 camel case, and I'm going to put an example of with camel case, yeah. Arm here 2022. I'm just randomly. Amazing. Okay, so this was one of the tests I failed. Okay, so this should be covered now. And what else? For the next one, it's the same variation of the same thing. Okay, so I don't need to create more tests for this. They are the same. Okay. So if I run this, so if I run this now, we'll be able to replace all the underscores with a dash, yeah? And then I'm just going to take this if statement away, and I'm going to make this just like that, text split. So I'm replacing all the occurrences of this one here. I'm making this method less complex, and it shouldn't matter if it's there or not, right? Because if it's not there, this text I'll replace will just return me the same string. And now, okay, I do have a syntax error. I think I need to complete my test. Okay, so my test says, okay, let me just copy this. Oh, it didn't let me do a copy and paste. Oh, come on. Why can't I do a copy and paste here? I don't know if they disable this on purpose, but you know, it's Okay, 2 camel case, arm collection, amazing. Food did not return. Did not return. Oops. Correct value. Okay, rather than just specifying it here. So, and I need to pass in the correct value. So what I'm actually expecting is, oops, doesn't let me copy and paste. Never mind. So arm, no, the first one should stay the same. Cool. Oh, it's already camel case, to be honest. So I should make it amazing. So arm collection amazing. And then that's it. Okay. We have test. It should work. Okay, fine. Okay, so all the tests are passing, and now I'm going to submit this answer and see if it passes all the tests. Yeah, so it passed every single test they have here, so I'm going to submit my solution. Okay, it's done. So yeah, so one challenge out of the way. So let's see what we have here in terms of solutions. Okay, so in general, this is like using the dot join is actually a way to create a string using you pass in an array, and then yeah, this is a more complex answer, but you know, it's all good. Right. Okay, so let's now go to the next challenge. Yeah, so just checking everything is okay. There's no questions. What time is it now? 3 o'clock. Okay. Right. So let's see. How can I try a new test? Okay, train again. Next kata. Okay. Ooh, it's going to get. Okay, this might get a bit more complicated now. So let's see. An isogram is a word that has no repeating letters, consecutive or non-consecutive. Implement a function that determines whether a string that contains only letters is an isogram. Okay, assume the empty string is an isogram and ignore letter case. Okay, this is cool. So it's fine. Let's try. Be more fun now. All right, isogram. I'm going to start with the easiest always, which is it's supposed to return true, right? So the first test is always the easy test, right? So I should be able to pass one of the tests. Wow, yeah, I passed 3 tests. That's probably because of luck anyway. So let's see what the tests we have here, okay? So we have dermatoglyphics. I barely can pronounce this word. We have, so what is the definition again? No repeating letters. Yeah, basically no repeating letters. So we need to make sure that this string doesn't have more than 1 repeated character. Yeah, so for each letter we find, there shouldn't be any more than 1. Okay, so this is going to be fun. Okay, right. So, and the first thing I remember it said as well, it should be regardless of the lowercase or uppercase. So I'm going to make sure that I don't like string as a variable name because it's actually very, but anyway. So lowercase I'm just going to make it lowercase, yeah. I think it's 2 lowercase, but I forgot. 2 lowercase, lowercase, yeah. Is lower, okay, there's is lower and there is lower, okay. Simple enough, lower. Okay, so now we know it's only lowercase letters. It's going to make it a bit easier, okay? So we should have, okay, so basically a string is a collection of characters, okay? So how can we do this? We could actually iterate through this string, and for each character we would be able to search for the same character in the string. But you know what, like before I start thinking of a function that does what I want to do, how about we just check something here, whether there's anything already in the documentation that already does what we want, like something like count or, okay, let's see. I honestly don't have like all the Python string API in my head, but you know, this is why I'm doing this exercise. Sometimes it's really useful. But you know, there's a way to count, I'm sure. Count, bit count. Okay, there's like other. Okay, you see there is a count x. So I can actually count using a method in the string, yeah? So I could do for character in lowercase str. Okay, and I could do something like lowercase str count character. Okay. So this will tell me how many characters int n occurrences. So if the number of occurrences is more than 1, hi Prof Maths, nice to see you. So if number of occurrences is less than is more than 1, then we know that we can already return false, right? Right, so we can just do something like if n occurrences bigger than 1, then return false. So this is like, okay, this is not exactly the, at university, I remember my professor used to tell me you shouldn't have multiple return statements in your method. And the reason why you would say that is because it makes it harder to analyze what's happening, okay? And I agree with him to a certain extent, but right now I'm just, yeah, I could do a similar thing by just having a variable here, yeah, like a result variable, and put the default like we have now, and then set the variable to false, and then break the for loop whenever we get to the point where we have the answer that we want. Because we don't want to go, to make this more efficient, I don't want to actually have to analyze the whole string, right? If it's not, if it already contains duplicated, if I already know that it's going to be a no, right? So just to make it more efficient. Okay, but for now, let me just put the return false here. Right, so we have, yeah, this should be it, right? Don't see why. Okay, let's test and see how many tests will pass. Oh, and to be honest, I'm mixing languages. Sometimes I program in Java, sometimes it's in JavaScript, and then Python. It's a bit like trying to speak. If you are a Portuguese speaker, trying to speak Spanish is quite tricky because lots of words are common. And the same thing with programming. When you know one language, then you can get confused with all the other languages. Right. So let's run this. Okay. So it's all done. Okay. Did I miss anything obvious? So make sure. So if, so I need to make sure that the length is more than 1. If length, actually it doesn't matter. Okay. because an empty string is also working as well. Okay, it's fine. Okay, I think it's working, so I'm going to just submit answer. It seems to be a quite simple exercise, so it works fine. So I have a solution. Maybe next time I can try to implement some more cool way of doing things, like I can implement. Yeah, but this is easy. It's easy to read. I know in Python you can do many cool ways of, you can write the same code in many different ways, like using lambda functions or whatever, right? But maybe for now I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, so keep going. For the next one, so it seems like I'm going up the ranks. Should have some coffee now, just to enjoy the... Oh, I have a privilege now. I can actually vote. Ooh, nice. Respect. Wow. I already have. Okay, so let's go to the next exercise. Okay. Hopefully it's going to be a bit more challenging. Okay, you like building blocks. You especially like building blocks that are squares, and what you even like more is to arrange them into a square of square building blocks. However, sometimes you can't arrange them into a square. Instead, you end up with an ordinary rectangle. Those blasted things. If you just had a way to know whether you are currently working in vain. Wait, that's it. You just have to check if your number of building blocks is this perfect square. Right, okay. So the task is, given an integral number, determine if it's a square number. In mathematics, a square number or a perfect square is an integer that is the square of an integer. In other words, it is the product of some integer with itself. All right. So let's see. Okay, -1 is not a square number. Okay. Okay, so right, so we have 3 is false, 4 is true because it's 2 square is 4. And then we have 5 square is 25, that's fine. Again, then you have 26 is like, no, it's false. Yeah, of course, that's why I was thinking about it. Okay, so we have a function, mathematics. It's good. I haven't done mathematics for a while. Not this level, this. So let me see. Is square. Okay, so how do we test is square? There's mathematics function, so one way of doing that is to do a square root of this, and if it gives me an integral number, like a number that is not fractional, then I know it's a square number, right? So I'm just going to go into the maths section of Python library. I think there should be a square root somewhere. Okay. We have Professor Maths here, so if I start struggling, you can now help me out. Right, so we have maths. So let's find the maths. Okay, there is a lot of versions in Python. I don't know which version they are. I'm going to put 3.8 here, so we are more or less like, I mean, it's not very advanced anyway. We don't need anything advanced at this stage. It's just simple mathematics. So I'm just going to look. This is like the Bible of Python, right? So if you want to, you know, like it's always good to look at APIs and mathematical functions. So we have here a list of mathematical functions, and probably already have something. Okay, is square root. Okay, so what is this? Returning to the square root of the non-integer negative integer. So integer square root. So I'm not sure whether this is actually rounding or not, but we can try it, right? So let's just open Google Colab very quickly. Okay, just give just try some fun. Just a way to test some functions and see what they actually do. Okay, so we have here. Okay, so let's see. Square root of 25. It's going to, of course, it's going to be 5. Yeah. Okay, we need to import math. This is a different Python version. Okay, let's try seal, just see if this is a problem with my import. Oh. You see, the Python changes quite often. I don't know why that one has integer square root. It doesn't have that. What is the version? Okay, I need to find out what Python version I'm dealing with. There is a way to do it. Just want to there should be a way just to check it by the library. Yeah, you can actually use this. Silly me. Okay, so I have a way to find out what the Python version. So it's using 3.7, right? And I told you, right, that maybe I didn't, but Python does change a lot from version to version. So someone decided that they wanted to have. So this is the actual traditional square root. Okay. So there is nothing. That method doesn't exist in 3.7, so it's probably safer to not use it. But then I need to find out, okay, because when I do a square root, okay, it's going to give me either an integer, okay, it's always going to be a float, or it's going to be, for example, if it's not going to be a, like, if it doesn't have a square root, right? Like, if it doesn't have if it's not a number, that if the square root is not an integer, then it means it's not. That's our test, basically. Okay. So the way to find out if it's a fraction number or not, there should also be something in the Python library. Let's find out. There's a few ways to do this with some function I already saw, but okay, so there's one way, right? Okay, one way is I can actually use math.ceil, right? And with math.ceil, if the same number I get is the same number that I passed in, right? So let's just give you an example. Math.ceil, for example, for this number, it's going to be 5.0, right? Oh, sorry, 6. It goes up. It doesn't matter. It can go up with ceil or with there should be the opposite function for the lower ceil. Or integral value. So the number we want should be an integral, right? Anyway, so if I do math.ceil and that's not the same number I had, so for example, if I do math.ceil for 5.0, it's going to return 5, right? It's the same number, okay? Which is equal to 5.0. Yeah, so this is our test. So what we're going to do here, we're going to, if n bigger than 0, because it says negative numbers cannot be square numbers, so we're not going to do anything. So else, so return false. So anything that's negative, we're going to return false straight away, okay? And anything that is positive, we're going to do a square root. Let me just import maths. Going to do a square root n dot, so math dot square root of n. Okay. We're going to do return math dot square root of n is equal to n. Okay. So if the number is different, that means this is not a square number. Okay. Sorry, I've missed something here. Let me just do. It's not quite this yet. Oh, one of my keys is not working. Oh, they don't even let you. They don't let you use some keys here. Right. So math dot sqrt and square root n. So square root of n equal to math.sqrt of n. And then if we just do math.ceil of n equal to n, then it means that it's actually a square number. Because oh, wait, I made a mistake here. So I shouldn't get confused. I need to, yeah, so because, okay, so for example, 25 is a square number because the square root of 25 is 5. And then when we apply a math.ceil for 5, it's going to be equal to 5, which is a square root of 25. Yeah, that's how it works. Okay. Oh, don't tell me they don't allow you to use math. They don't allow you to use maths? Sorry, did I see that somewhere? Okay, so maths. Sorry, I was a bit worried that they don't want me to use maths. You know, maybe this is going to be harder, but you know, yeah. For a second, I thought I didn't have to. I didn't have access to the math function. Okay, so we have one test passing. Okay, the first test is passing. The second test, for 0 it doesn't work. Square root of 0 is 0. And then math.ceil for, oh sorry, I think this is not, I've missed this. should be square. Okay, so it should work now. Okay, but it seems I haven't catered for 0 properly. So 0. Oh, because I didn't specify n should be bigger than 0 or equal to 0. It's okay. So now it should work. Okay. So let's see if there's any more tests they've added here that will fail my solution. Okay, it's all good. So submit. Done. Okay, so okay, seems to be going well so far. Let's see if what time is it now? Okay, still have more time. So let's see the next kata. There's of course always many solutions you can have, smarter solutions, I'm sure, but at the end of the day it's just a function. You just have to get it right, the basics. Okay, so this exercise, there is a bus moving in the city and it takes and drops some people in each bus stop. You are provided with a list or array of integer pairs. Elements of each pair represent the number of people getting to the bus. So elements of each pair represent the number of people getting into the bus, the first item, and number of people getting off the bus, the second item, in a bus stop. Your task is to return number of people who are still in a bus after the last bus station, after the last array, even though it is the last bus stop and the bus is not empty and some people are still in the bus and they are probably sleeping there. Take a look on the test cases and please keep in mind that the test cases ensure that the number of people in the bus is always bigger than or equal to 0, so the return integer can't be negative. Okay, the second value in the integer array is 0, and since the bus is empty, the final in the first bus stop. Okay, let me just see how. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think I've just read through this. Let's just have a look at the test cases to make more sense of this. So for this list, so we are calling a function number. Okay, so when we call the function number with this list here, it returns 5. Yeah, so and why does it return 5? Let me see if I understand correctly. Okay. So elements of each pair represent number of people getting into the bus. The first item, so number of people getting into the bus, yeah. So this is the first item here. And then number of people getting off the bus, the second item. Okay, so this is how many people got off in the first bus stop. So everyone got in this bus stop, right? So in the second bus stop, right? So this is a start, so nobody is getting off because it's just the start of the bus trip. Then in the second, we have 3 people coming in and 5 people getting out, yeah? So we have, so 10 minus 5, it's 5, and then 5 plus 3 is 8, right? So by the end of here, we have 8, and then 5 more people come, so we have 13 people in the bus, minus 8, which is going to be 5. Okay, I got it. So this is almost like we need to keep a count. So it starts to make sense now. Okay, I think I understand it now. So I'm just going to, so this is a good one, right? So we have, let's just go through the simple test case. Okay, we are not going to be given some like random input, right? So let's just deal with, so for bus stop in bus stops, we have, so we have the first in the bus stop. Okay, so what we can do, we can just create 2 variables here. So in and then out. Okay, so I can just, and then I can just do this, bus stop. So I'm iterating through each element in this array, and each element has 2 elements, right? So this is almost like a list comprehension. So like it should work like this actually. It's not list comprehension. Sorry, it's yeah. Forgot. But anyway, let's just try this and in and out. Okay, so we have in and then we have out. I think in is probably a reserved keyword in bus, and so I'm going to add in bus and then out bus. Okay, right, so in bus and then out bus, and then I'm going to keep a count of people who have come in the bus. So let's total in. So let's call it total passengers, yeah? So we start with 0, okay? And then what we can do, so total passengers minus, and we can do this in Python and many other languages. I can decrement, you see the minus sign here? I can decrement the total, a number, yeah? So for example, if I do minus like this, I can decrement this variable -1, yeah? Or if I put 2 here, I can decrement this variable -2. In this case, I'm just going to increment actually. First, I'm going to increment. It's going to be in bus, yeah? They don't let me do copy and paste for some reason here, but you know. So in bus, yeah? And then total passengers. So after I increment, I also can take the passengers that go out, yeah? So out bus. Okay, so we have that, yeah? And then basically it should be really simple, because by the end we should be able to return the total passengers, and it should just give me the number of people that are still in the bus at the end. So because I'm keeping track of how many people are coming in and coming out, right? So let's just try and test this and see if this works. You see, it works. Yeah. So this is a very important concept here in Python, right? You can, I know there are 2 elements in this list, right? And they are guaranteeing, I don't think this exercise is asking us to validate our parameters, because, so I'm assuming they always have 2 elements, right? One for the number of passengers coming in and one for the passengers coming out, okay? And if I show you this concept, which is quite a nice trick in Python, so if I just copy and paste this list before I go into the next exercise, let me just take this one here, right? If I do for element in list, okay, I can do a print element here. You'll see each element has 2. So each element in a list has 2 as a list with 2 elements, yeah. And then I can actually assign this to a variable 1 first element, and then comma second element. If I had 3 elements, right, I could actually keep going, you know, third element and so on, right? But I only have 2. This is quite nice, right? And then, so basically I'm already putting into variable. What happened there? I'm putting into variables you know, this is very nice and tidy. So instead of having to use the array index or whatever, I can just do this. It's very expressive. Yeah. Element. Wait, I'll do an extra Can you see? So it's very nice. This is an awesome actually feature to have. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the next problem. I'm going to attempt. So all good. 104 tests. That's quite interesting. Quite big. Test suite. Yeah. So it's a very simple function, and it's actually fun to do, to be honest. And you can get a lot from this type of exercises, not just for like interviews, right? And coding interviews, which, yes, this is the type of question that you'll get like in a coding interview, just to get you out of the door as quickly as possible. Sometimes it's like that, right? If someone is interviewing you, they probably are there then because they were told that they need to interview a new developer, and they will just come up with some basic questions first to just, you know, not waste their time anymore. If you can't pass these questions, then they will have to work harder. You know, like asking more difficult questions, and until some point then you get your job. Right, so, okay, this exercise, let's see. Find the unique number. There is an array with some numbers, and all numbers are equal except for one. Try to find it. Oh, I see. This is a variation of a problem we had before. Actually, it shouldn't be too difficult. Right, so we should find the number that is odd, basically. So, looking at this list, we need to find a number that only has one occurrence in the list. All right. Same for this one. Okay. So we need to also think about performance. Okay, so this is actually interesting here. It's not telling me, it's not going to be just a bunch of numbers. So we need to think about performance. Okay, this is interesting. Maybe we need to think about NumPy. I don't know if that's the right place to use it, but let's see. Okay, let's try. Because in general, like, this is actually a very simple problem, but I understand what they mean. So what you can do, right? If you want to think about performance, if performance is really important, we want to make sure that we only iterate through the list once, okay? If we iterate only, that's the linear complexity in the function, right? If you have a function that goes for each element, it goes through the list one again and again and again and again. That's like a very complex function. It's not going to scale properly when you have a million elements. But if you are doing a linear function where you only iterate through the array once ever, regardless how many elements they have, then that's as good as it can get, right? So I would say that I would probably just keep a count of each number. Like, we can maybe keep it in a dictionary, and we can count the number of occurrences for each number. Okay, that's probably the easiest. And you know, that's going to scale. It's going to be a very good performance, right? Let me just think. So dictionary in Python. So let's find dictionary. So we have. Hello. Okay. Right. So we have here some dictionaries, right? Data structures. Let me find the dictionaries here. bit hard to navigate through the documentation, but this is a very... Okay, let's just try it here. Yeah, so basically this is how you define a dictionary in Python. It's not very difficult, and you can also pass in a default value. If I'm let me just, I can also access the help here. Yeah, so I can show you. So this is a useful method. When you can't find the documentation straight away, you can always use help in a Python notebook, and here you can see all the methods that you could use. Okay, and there is a way to specify default. I would say the default for any number should be a 0. So let me see if I can just declare, if I remember correctly, the syntax, it should be something like dictionary 0. Let me just go and search quickly so I remember. Python dictionary with default value. Oh, okay. This is one way to do it, but I remember having also a dictionary that allows you to specify default. Default dictionary, yeah, that's the one. So default dictionary. Okay, right, cool. That's the one. So yeah, let's just test it here. So default dictionary. Need to import it, of course. Collections, okay, since our collections. From collections, import default dictionary. And then we have here, okay. So for example, why is the key equal to 30? Just find a moment. So basically it's a function. Yes, accepts a function that. So basically this is the default value. Okay. So if I set, I don't know why it doesn't just accept 0. Maybe I can do this. So lambda. I'm trying to create a lambda function, trying to make it a bit prettier. Okay. I forgot the function. But you know what? I want to keep things simple, so I'll show you 2 ways of doing it without using this syntax, which is not something. Okay, this is it. Okay, I always get confused because I use JavaScript, I use Java, I use many different languages. I'm a weekend user sometimes. All of them. Do they say return? Yeah, okay, so that's the return type. So I can do something like this. So I'm passing in a function that returns the default value 0. And I'm trying to do this in a way that it's in line, okay? Let me just take this out from here. This is one way to create a default dictionary. Let's call it counts, yeah? So if a key is not, for example, if I do counts of, for example, something that's not there, like 10, or a character, let's say counts of A, is going to return 0. Yeah, I got it wrong. Did I do wrong? Let me just do this default. So default definition. So default value would be return 0. Okay, this is the easy way to do it. You see, it works, right? So if the key is not there and A is not there, it returns 0. I don't know why it didn't allow me to do like a lambda function. It is pretty nice, right? Okay, maybe. Okay, I'll try to just keep things simple. So this is the way to do it. Okay, so we have a default dictionary, and with this we can actually resolve this problem, right? So I can just, okay, first of all, from collections import default dictionary. Okay, we can define a default value, and the default value is 0, right? So for our dictionary, I'm going to create a dictionary here, counts. I'm going to call it counts for now. So value. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to iterate through the array. So for n in array, okay, I'm going to, so what are we supposed to do? So we need to find the unique number, right? Okay, so counts of n, it's actually very simple, right? So I just have to, for each element, right, in this array, I need to make sure also I cover the elements with, if there is no array, I should return something like nothing, like basically. Anyway, so we have, so for n in array, we are basically incrementing the counts for that number in that array. It should work. And then at the end, I'm going to filter all the counts from the dictionary and find the one which has only like one element, or the list at least. So let's find out in the API if there is any like filtering functionality that we can use. Yeah. We have default dictionary here. Yeah. We have, okay, we see, now I know the class I wanted. It's easy to find the documentation, but the actual Python website is not very user-friendly when you're trying to find something you don't actually know what you're looking for. Not exactly, at least. Right, so we have, okay. We can always iterate through the elements again, or do a function, apply a function to the dictionary, and then convert, do some kind of count. Well, we already have a count, right? So this is not exactly very useful to do the same thing again. But there should be a filter function somewhere, right? Oh, at least comprehension. Okay. We can do that. Okay, so if I already have a dictionary, so I can do something like counts with one. Unique, let's call it unique elements, yeah? Right? So it's going to be a list comprehension, okay, of, I'm going to use counts, right? Where, so it's going to be X where, I don't know if this is the exact syntax, right? I'm just, anyway, this is how I'm thinking right now, but we'll fix the syntax in a second, right? So X where, X dot, okay, then we have like two elements, right? So X is a count, X is the actual character, where count equal to 1, something like that. I'm just going to search for list comprehension. I always keep forgetting the actual syntax. But you know, this is definitely the thing you want to always remember, because it's actually very useful for X in fruits. Okay, I got it. So if I go here for X equal count in counts, and then if, okay, at the end, the condition goes at the end, right? If count equal to 1, right? So basically I'm filtering all the elements here which have a count of 1, and I should only have 1, right? So I'm going to, let me just think about this. They are guaranteeing me that we are going to assume it's only 1, right? So even if I get more than 1, I'm always going to get the first element in an array, yeah? So I'm not going to... okay, so return unique elements 0. Okay, of course there should be 1 that's unique, right? So let's just make this safe as well. So if the array is empty, what should we return? It doesn't make any sense, right? So they shouldn't give me an array that's empty. So we're not doing exception handling here, so I'm not going to consider that. Yeah, so this should work. So we basically go through the array once, we count how many elements we have. So for each element in the array, we basically increment the counter. So this is an array with the default value, right? So if the number is not there yet, it's going to default to 0. Yeah. And then of course we're going to increment with 1, and then we're going to replace that value with 1. Yeah, so if nothing is there, it's going to default to 0, and then 0 plus 1 should be 1. And then at the end we check, we find the numbers that only have 1 count. Yeah, so let's see. So I have some error. I missed a T here. Okay, so I don't have, what do I have now? There's another error. Cannot unpack non-iterable int object. And this is the line number, which one is it? So this is the one. Okay, I've kind of done something wrong, I'm sure. Cannot pack non-iterable int object. For 100% sure why it's complaining. Is it because of my syntax? Let me just find out. I'll bring back to the Python list comprehensions 101. I think I just missed something on my. Okay. It's A next. For dictionaries as well. I'm just wondering if I missed something. Dictionary. So no, easiest is to try somewhere here. I'm going to just take one function. So a dictionary. Okay, let's do counts of equal to 1. Counts of B equal to 2, and then counts of 3 of C equal to 3. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's a number or not. So I'm going to do for item. So a list comprehension would be okay. I have someone saying hello. Oh, counts.items. Okay. Counts.items. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I was missing that, so I'll go back to my training board. I was on the right track, isn't it? Right, but sometimes when you miss, I think, does it have a bracket? Okay, maybe I need to put like this, right? Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that was it. Counts.items, right? So it seems like I need to basically I can't just iterate directly. I can't create a list comprehension directly on counts. I need to return the items. Yeah. So I have my test passing now. Very basic ones. Let's see if this actually scales to the big numbers. Yeah. So I'm going to attempt. And it works. Yeah. So the key was, right, to go through the array only once. Yeah. And then, yeah, that scales always because it's a linear complexity function, right? If I had done, because in the previous exercise, I actually tried to go, I did actually multiple loops, right? That wouldn't have scaled yet. Cool, right? So I'm good. Yeah, so let's go to the, do I have more time? Let me see, what time is it now? So it's 4 o'clock. I could keep going if you want to. Right, I'll go to the next kata. Okay, if we list all the natural numbers below 10, there are multiples of 3 or 5, and we get 3, 5, 6, and 9. And the sum of these multiples is 23. So, okay. So we have 3, 5. Finish the solution so that it returns the sum of all the multiples of 3 or 5 below the numbers passed in. Additionally, if the number is negative, return 0 for languages that do have them. Okay, note if the number is a multiple of both 3 and 5, only count it once. So the idea is we go through a list. If it's a multiple of 3 or 5, we basically count that number as a multiple of 3 or 5, and then at the end we do a sum of all the multiples of all the numbers that are a multiple of 3 or 5. Seems quite simple actually. So let me try. If we list all the now, okay. 3, 5, 6, and 9. Okay. So let's start with a very simple solution, which is if number equal to I think we're supposed to return for any number that is less than 0, we should return 0, yeah? So we already have one test that we can pass, else I'm going to return -1 for now, just to make it, okay? Let's see, with this test suite, let's see if, okay, so we should have one test passing, yeah? That's the test for like negative numbers. So we have now the next one is, okay, so the next test. So if n equal to 4, I think we are supposed to go like 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, it should be 3 only, right? I think I get it, yeah. So 4, okay, we need to do like a range or something like that, right? Range of of 0 number, right? We have, what do we have here? So we does it say we need to include a number? Below 10, it's basically not including that number, right? So range of, for example, 0 to, I can do it here just so it's easier, right? So if I do range, okay, range of 0 to, for example, like 10, as the exercise was mentioning, that will give us, oh, okay. Let me just make it into a list so you see what is actually supposed to return. Time. All right, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 0 is obviously it's not a multiple. It doesn't really matter, right? Because it can be a multiple for anything. So it's not really a multiple, but it doesn't matter. It's a 0. It's not going to affect our sum at all. So I'm not worried about that. And we have then 1. Okay, so this is the way to go. I'm going to use the range function, okay? So the range function, so for n in range 0 to number, okay? So what is the definition of a multiple of, what is the requirements for something to be the multiple of 3, okay? It's actually quite simple. There's a function percentage sign, yeah? So if I divide that number, for example, by 3, okay, but this is not the division, this is actually the remainder, like the leftover, okay? So if the leftover of dividing the number by 3 is 0, then I know it's a multiple of 3. Or if the number left reminder, if the number divided by 5 is also a 0, then I know it's also a multiple of 3. Okay, so we can create this variable called is multiple of 3 or 5. Okay, and we have, this is our predicate, right? So if is multiple of 3 or 5. Oh, okay, it doesn't even let me. I have to type everything by hand. Multiple of 3 or 5, then return. No, I'm going to update my total. So total plus equals, yeah, and then that number. So I'm basically, I have to sum all the numbers, right? So I'm going to add that number to the sum, yeah. Okay, and then yeah, that's it. And at the end, I just return the total. So let's do total here. Total equal to 0. Okay, so total equal to 0. We go through the range basically from 0 to the number. So, and for example, if it's 10, then it's going to be from 0 to 9. We don't count the actual number because we don't want it. Then we just test that the number is, this is like an OR. I don't know if actually this works in Python. Let me see. It doesn't matter. It's something like this anyway. Or, yeah. I'm going to add brackets as well. You shouldn't need them, but it probably is easier to read. Yeah. So if number is a multiple of 3, or is a number is a multiple of 5, then this is going to become true. Yeah. So this is a variable, a boolean. Yeah, a boolean. So true or false. And then if it's true, then I return the total. I add this number to the total. Yeah. So let's try it now. Yeah, it worked. So I hope I explained it correctly, but it's a simple exercise anyway. So we're just using this percentage sign. I can actually show you here what it's supposed to return. For example, 10 percentage 3. So 10 is actually not divisible by 3, we know, right? But it's probably going to give me a 1 here, because 10 is not divisible by, it's not divisible by 3, but 9 is, right? And 9 divided by 3 is like 3, but the remainder is basically 1. Okay, so that's it. I think, yeah, so I'm going to submit my resolution, and then yeah, it's cool. Fine. All right. I think I've done enough Python exercises for today. I hope you found value in this afternoon, right? Doing simple Python exercises just to practice some of the basics, right? I see someone come in, right? Anyway, I've done a lot of exercises. Maybe I should do another one. Since I had more people join the live stream, I might as well do one more, just as an extra. Okay, welcome, and say hi if you... Right, so digital root is the recursive sum of all the digits in a number. Okay. All right, given n, take the sum of the digits of n, and if that value has more than one digit, continue reducing it in this way until a single digit number is produced. The input will be a non-negative number, a non-negative integer. Okay, let's see. So 16. Oh, well, basically, so we just take each number. So 1, 6, 1 plus 6, 7. How does this work? So 9, 4, 2. 9 plus 4 plus 2 equal 15. Oh, I see. Until it has a single digit. This is quite cool. Never tried this one before. So this sum of digits. Okay. And then we have this one. I think I got to the point of this exercise. It looks a bit more challenging, so let's give it a go. Digital root. So 16. So basically, I need to get each digit in a number and then sum the digits. And I'm thinking of, to make it easier for me, I could just convert the number to a string. It's probably like a cop-out, right? I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but the first thing comes to my mind, if I just convert this to a string, and I'll show you what I mean, right? So if I do str of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, it's going to give me like a list of characters, right? And I can just iterate. I can really deal with this easily, yeah? I can convert this back to a number when I need it. Okay, the other option would be to try and do some mathematics. I can extract this digit by just dividing this by, we can divide this by the number of digits in the number or something like that. Like, but you see where I'm going. It's already getting a bit complicated. I'm sure there's a very smart way to do that with mathematics, but you know, sometimes you just have to think off the top of your head, right? And this is the easiest I can think of. Okay, so I'm going to convert this number, so n str, I'm going to call it that, and I'm just going to do str of n. That's it. So it's telling me as well that the input will always be a non-negative number, so I don't have to worry too much. Okay, but I do need to worry about 0. So what's going to be the result for digital root of 0? It's going to be 0, right? So I might as well, if n bigger than 0, I'm going to return, I'm going to do something smart, right? If else, I'm just going to return 0. Okay, so I could, for now I can just let's start running the test, because it's always good to look at your tests and see if you are doing something wrong, right? Ignore this, but we have already some tests here. There's nothing for digital root of 0, so I might as well add it. Okay, so test dot assert underscore equals digital root of zero should be 0, right? Okay. It's missing a bracket here. Just run the tests. So we have one test passing as expected, and everything else is failing. Okay, cool. We already have this test passing. And now I'm going to go back to our solution, which I think it's going to be, so the straightforward thing to do is to convert this to a string. First thing I should do, I should check that you know, another test case, right? What if the actual number itself is already a single digit, right? So I'm just going to define what's the result for that, because I honestly, I don't know what, I need to think about that for a sec. So assert equals digital root of, for example, like 9, right? There should be what? 0? Let me think. We can make this recursive actually. This is actually the kind of function I would use, make it recursive. So let's do this. So 1, 6, 1 plus 6. Okay, so I'm going to make it 0 as well. So 0. So I can actually make this it's going to be interesting. A very good recursive function. So nstr, so we convert this to a string. So we calculate, so basically we iterate for okay, n string for digit str in n str. Okay, so we basically iterating through each character, right, in the string, which is you know, it was a number, now we made it a string. Yeah, and we are going to extract, we can convert this back to a number, right? But actually I need to make sure. But before I even do anything, so should I just do, okay, if length, I don't like to have like 2 if statements like this, but you know, for now let's just do it like that. So if n str is, we want to have more than 1, right? Yeah. Else it's going to be a 0. I could also make this part of this if statement to make it a bit nicer. So I can do and length of str of n is bigger than 1. Yeah. Else everything defaults to 0. So now I don't have to have this ugly if statement inside another if statement. It's always good to avoid inner statements, you know, like in this way, because it's not very pretty. Oh, what happened there? So 4 digit str in. Okay, so we are now iterating through the string, and I can just do actually a sum or something, right? Okay. Well, the easiest is to just have a counter total, like a total equal to 0, and then I can do digit str, so total equal to plus equal to int of digital str, and then yeah, so this is going to add all the numbers, and then at the end, then we can actually call digital root. So what I'm going to do, right, because in this case, you see, right, the number here has still, the sum of this number is still has more than 1 digit. In this case, it has 2 digits. Then I need to keep applying the algorithm recursively, right? And recursive means I can actually call this method here again, and I will call it here. So return, instead of just returning a number straight away, I'm going to basically call the same method until it returns 0, yeah? So this is the reducing factor, right? So when it gets to returning 0, it's not going to call itself anymore, okay? Eventually, it's going to happen like that, because the bigger the number, you see, eventually we'll get to a point where it's going to return 0. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do total plus digital root of n, of total. So this is a recursive call, yeah. I probably should add some comments here. Go through each digit and sum it. I'm converting each digit from a char to an int. You can do that with Python easily like this. And then at the end, I'm returning the total. Okay. So let's see if this works. So this is a very nice exercise for like doing recursive functions. I honestly, in the real life, I don't get to do this many times. Okay, did I miss some kind of, miss my brackets? So let's see. So we have something that's not right. So assert equals digital root of, oh, I made a mistake here. So 9 is 0. Okay, let me try again. So I have some tests passing, but I have some that are failing. So this one seems to be working. Okay, so 16 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, this one is 9 plus 4 plus 2. 14, 16, no, 13, 15. Then I have to do 1, 5. Oh, I see. I'm not supposed to add this, yeah. So it should be without this, because we're not looking for the sum of all the, if I go here, right, we're not actually looking for the sum for this one. Okay, we are calculating this sum, but then we are reducing it. So we only return the sum at the end. So let me just see here, what am I doing wrong? Okay, so this should work. Did I make it worse? I think I made a mistake. Let me think. So, okay, so it's not as simple as I thought. Okay, so okay, I can't just return 0 here. I need to return. Okay, I think I understand this. So if let's think about where do I terminate this. So digital root of total. Okay, if I do this, it's going to always return 0, right? It's not good. Eventually will return 0. And we want to stop before it returns 0. So here, if we know this is only going to have a single digit, then we can stop, right? So if str of total, okay, it's a bit ugly, but it's bigger than, So how many do we have to have? If it's bigger than 1, then we know we can apply the algorithm. Yeah. Else, okay, this is not very nice, but this should work. Else return total. So we are stopping. Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not very happy with how it looks like. Maybe I can make this a bit more elegant. So I could just do something like, I can just do maybe an else if here. So elif and length of str of n equal to 1, then return n. Yeah, so return n. That's probably a better one. But it's not really strictly true, to be honest. So I don't, no, forget it. I'm not going to do that. Okay, this is the right function. Yeah, that's about it. I think, yeah. I can refactor this maybe just to make it a little bit nicer, but it works. Oh, I thought it worked. Okay, so I have 2 tests failing. Let me see why. So n equal to 9. Oh, this is my, oh, I see. So they do have the same, it should be 9, okay. So I need to modify my test. Oh, okay, so this is actually how I wanted to do it just now. Okay, fine. So elif n bigger than 0 and length of str of n equal to 1, so return n. And then I don't need to have this here. I don't need to do this here actually. Okay, I don't need to do this if statement here actually. So it makes it a bit nicer. Yeah, so it's working now. All right. So 110 tests passed, and so I have a working solution here for the digital root. And I'm going to submit this, and I'm going to finish off here. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and if you find it valuable, let me know in the comments, even if you're watching this on playback, and I'll do more of this, because this is actually a nice way to spend like a Sunday afternoon without really, well, right now this is simple enough. It's probably going to get harder as I go along, but you know, today was easy enough, quite relaxing actually. Yeah, and it's a good way to go back to basics. Sometimes it's really useful, even if you're working, well, I've been working as a developer for quite a few years now. But the thing you always find is that you're always doing something different. You're not always doing, well, I'm not always doing programming actually. I do a lot of, well, nowadays of cloud DevOps and things like that. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you again in the next one. Happy coding.